What if someone you lost who had died returned? This episode of AfterBuzz TV is brought to you by the powerful and riveting new drama Resurrection. You won't be able to stop watching or talking about it. Resurrection premiering on Sunday night, March 9th at 9/8 Central, only on ABC. You're not going to want to miss it.
Mr. Langston, did your son go missing, sir? I haven't. He's okay.
My son died 32 years ago.
What if someone you lost returned?
Daddy!
Honey, who is it?
Jacob. I'm coming home.
The television series event begins.
You're not the only one, there's others.
Tell the world.
Resurrection. Series premieres Sunday, March 9th on ABC.
You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's Mob Wives After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Mob Wives After Show.
Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of Mob Wives New Blood After Show here at AfterBuzz TV with over 75 million weekly downloads. We are your #1 source for after-show entertainment, and I'm your host, Erika Garcia Rojas, and I'm joined here by...
What's up, everyone? I'm Charlotte Broadbent. I'm sad that this is the final show for the season.
I know, it makes me sad too. I'm Roxy Striar, but I am excited that we are here for one last time this season.
One last time, and we're going to make it awesome, you guys. But first, before we dive deeper into tonight's episode, I want to tell you about a great TV show which I think you guys will like. Obviously, you heard Maria mention it at the top of the show, so I just want to give you a little bit more info.
Yeah, so imagine if you knew someone that had died, whether a grandmother, father, mother, whoever, had all of a sudden returned. Doesn't that sound interesting?
Yes, and I can only imagine if my grandmother appeared on my doorstep.
Well, that's exactly what's happening in a small town called Arcadia, Missouri, on ABC's new drama called Resurrection. Residents of the town who have passed away are coming back.
Yes, so it all starts with 8-year-old Jacob. He reunites with his parents, and they're totally confused, as I would be, since Jacob actually died 32 years ago.
That's crazy, but what a fun premises to a show. And of course, the mystery deepens as more and more people begin returning.
Just the previews alone are so powerful, and I have me asking so many questions like, are they really the same people? Where do they come from? How do they fit back in the world?
This is exactly the type of TV show that lends itself for water cooler talk, which of course is what AfterBuzz TV is all about. Everyone will have their own theories.
Of course, and unlike other TV shows, it's not about zombies or aliens. It's completely new and impossible to guess where the story is going to go.
So when does it premiere?
Well, it premieres Sunday, March 9th on ABC at 9/8 Central. So once again, guys, that's ABC's Resurrection premiering Sunday, March 9th at 9/8 Central.
I know I'll be there.
Me too. And you AfterBuzzers should check it out too. Now, back to tonight's episode. Woo-hoo! So, we've got our Mob Wives. We've got our finale. This is it. This is it. We're done. We're done with this season. So now I want to know.
This season. Don't say done.
I know.
That will
we're
make
not
me
done.
cry.
It will make me cry. And I hope if each one of you guys are listening, I hope you guys sign these women up for another season. I could go for some new blood.
I know you want the new blood.
I could go for new blood.
I just hope that everybody's out of jail and can be part of this still. I mean, come on.
All right, so the show's over. Okay, we're done. What do you guys think of the season? Just before we jump into the finale.
I still don't feel like we really wrapped everything up. Like tonight, I don't know. I don't think we fully finished.
How can you feel like we wrapped everything up when it's to be continued, ... I mean, of course you don't feel that way. Me neither. Like, what the hell, guys? People had their theories about what the after show, this reunion, like, what's the word? The reunion was going to be like. They thought maybe it would tell us what happened in between then and now, and the to be continued would be answered. oh my God, that didn't happen. I'm with you, Charlotte. I feel like a lot of loose ends. What the hell?
Yeah, even loose ends, I just feel that and generally speaking, I feel that the storylines were somewhat superficial, except for the one with Alicia. That's the one that actually seemed to have some depth to it. The whole dragged out, banged out fight between Renee and Natalie and the delicious thing was just
like
so
over
drawn
one
out.
word, and it's still going on. They were still heated about it tonight. It's like, this is one word, delicious. Like,
And I feel like these women have so many more problems going on. Like Renee with Junior getting out of. I just feel like there's so many problems that are legit and real, and they're spending so much time on this delicious thing that it's like it's losing its appeal of what I love Mob Wives to be.
Absolutely. Here's what confused me about tonight's episode. If tonight's episode was going to be a recap of the season, which is, in my opinion, what it was, then they should have advertised it as such. If all we were going to do was see the highlights of the season, which is what they did, then that would have been one thing. I would have been prepped for that. And we could have sat there. We could have had our glass of wine. We could have watched and been like, haha, remember when that happened? But that's not what a reunion is about. At least show me unseen footage or talk about what's happened between then and now. Or seriously get into what the hell was really going on, really on Twitter. What was going on? Because I don't feel like I know actually what's happening here, or the big question that we have tonight about the drugs, which I'm sure we'll get into. What do you mean you guys got high together? That is something I am curious about. Why would they just show us clips we've already seen, talk about it for 4 seconds and move on? That's not a reunion show.
So let me ask you guys. I mean, I think I know your answer. Were you not happy with tonight's reunion?
No. That's kind of sad. It's like, what? That wasn't a reunion. Like,
it felt like a funeral. No, seriously, it felt like a funeral. We're looking back at the clips of the life, and I'm like, oh, man.
I was disappointed as well. I mean, I know last season they had Dr. Drew mediate it, and the women went crazy. It was a crazy reunion. And for those of you that watch not just Mob Wives, but a lot of these housewives type reality shows, the best episode, I mean, in my opinion, is the reunion.
Right.
Because stuff goes down at the reunion. And I'm always looking forward to it because, of course, as you guys and you at home know, this reunion takes place after they've watched the season. So there's always things that come up. But I remember saying this last week, like, what could they possibly really fight about? The issues weren't that bad that I can't imagine that they're going to go... Nothing new, I think, popped up that these women were not expecting. So I think they already had hashed out a lot of these issues during the actual season. So nothing new came out with that. Whereas for some of the other housewife type shows, new things come up. And so there's brand new arguments and things that have happened between the time that the show is filmed and the reunion is filmed.
I mean, we could have talked about, how do you feel about new blood coming on the show? New blood versus old blood. Are you guys siding? Are you parting the seas? Are you merging together? There are different things I felt like they could have done. You mentioned Dr. Drew doing the show last time. This has nothing, in my opinion, to do with Sherri Shepherd. I thought she did a great job.
Yeah, she did. She did a great job.
Right. Not that you were saying she didn't, but I'm just saying this had nothing to do with her. She did a very great job. I don't appreciate how this reunion was set up. I thought that was kind of weird. Like, let's all sit down at the table and discuss.
it was set up as kind of a look back. Like, we'll just sit down at dinner.
And with wine, yeah.
Well, it's the Italian thing. It's the mob thing. It's a Sunday family dinner. That's what they do, and it's kind of paying homage to that what's the word I'm thinking of? Tradition. The whole let's break bread. And I think the concept itself was cute. But I didn't like the setup either, Roxy.
It wasn't conducive to
the arguments and all that. And to be quite honest, like the glasses and everything got in the way. Like when they talked, they were in front of them. I didn't like it.
Yeah, I don't really know what they were thinking. And really the only high emotion screaming thing we got was drama that's not even from the season. It was bizarre. That was so I think
weird.
that the only time when that happened was Dick in the soup, like we were talking about.
And we'll talk about that because that happens at the end. So let's start with the beginning. Well, we can't start this discussion without talking about Big Angie's hood, her glitter hood,
Dude,
which we all
I would
loved.
rock the hell out of that
Love
glitter
the glitter hood.
I'm not even okay. Sometimes I say things in the show and I'm being facetious. I'll be like, "Oh my god, I love it," when it's really like nothing I would ever do. I loved the glitter hood. I'm telling you that if that was in my closet, I'm going to Vegas this weekend. That is what I would be wearing to the club. She is fabulous.
Well, we talked about this too. It's not just a glitter hood, but it's a glitter hood with like the slick, straight hair and like the makeup. It's just. I'm glad that Big Ange came and brought it because I wouldn't expect anything less from her, and I love that she did. And I actually have that exact same outfit. It's just not glitter. It's black and it has a hood. And now I want to bring it out of my closet and wear it. And I kind of wish I wore it tonight.
We got to bedazzle it. Rally Babe has to bedazzle the hell out of that.
The three of us need to wear glitter hoods the next time we go out.
I just seriously, can you imagine going to the store, purchasing that, and then I just think it's amazing.
But can you imagine being Big Ange? I mean,
yes,
no,
I wish.
That's like a whole crazy, amazing glitter lifestyle.
I know.
Her house is pink.
The shoulders were a little poofed. She tweeted a picture.
She had the
awesome.
She looked great.
By the way, girl has a killer body. If you took her boobs and put it on one of you guys, you would topple right over. But in the picture, I'm like, rock it. You do you.
So they start the episode with kind of, in my opinion, it seemed like they were trying to address that ... to be continued by asking Alicia what was going on. And, obviously nothing really has been settled. They haven't made a decision for what they're going to do with Alicia.
Right. And we know since that was holiday time, because we saw it in the footage, that it's been a couple months.
It's been a while.
It
so that's
dates
it. So,
the show.
Well, but here's the thing: as a producer and a creator of the show, having Alicia on it, I would think is a good thing because she brings some real reality to it. But with real reality comes real reality. The real reality is that nothing actually has happened, and unfortunately they can't. Right. How are they going to kind of?
How are you going to claim it happened when it didn't? Right.
So they have to go with what's really out there, and it kind of it just nothing got resolved, so then the show we all feel like didn't get resolved.
Right. It's a really good point. If this was scripted television, she'd either be in jail or she wouldn't be.
She wouldn't. But it's not, and that's the beauty of it, is that reality, but the reality is that nothing happened. So then they talk a little bit about the fight, and we'll talk about, you brought this up, the drug use and all that, between Natalie and Renee. And maybe you can help clear it out. I'm kind of confused after watching that.
Yeah, okay. So basically what happens is there's an argument where Renee, and she's admitted earlier in the season that she started using again. She relapsed. And everybody, it's a hard thing to do, to grasp your head around, because you want to blame the person, but you have to remember that it's an addiction, and it's difficult to not blame them because they're the ones physically ingesting something, but then the way they act is because they're on it, but they're only on it because of what they did. It's kind of catch-22, but what she was saying, Natalie was saying, you were the one who relapsed, you did this, and Renee's saying, don't you dare talk about my recovery. And I was with Renee for a minute. I was like, yeah, I don't think it's right to talk about somebody else's recovery like that, especially when she's now sober and trying really hard. The last thing you want to do is drag her back down. She says, don't you dare do that, especially when you got high with me. You got high with me. And we know that the time period of when they got high was pre-Vegas. Don't really know what it was post.
We don't know if it was post-delicious.
Right. Not sure where it was post.
That's what I think we were kind of confused on.
Along with the getting high was a text message sent from Renee to Natalie saying, let's cuddle. Which is weird. So the timeline's a little off.
And Renee is saying that, oh no, that wasn't to you, Natalie. That was to somebody else. And Natalie's like, that was totally to me.
And I still have the text.
Yeah.
I believe Natalie on that
I believe
one.
Natalie too.
But anyway, the point is, it's a very tough situation because if Natalie is doing drugs, I suppose that's her prerogative. But doing drugs with somebody who's in recovery is a whole different story. And then to do drugs with that person and then look at them and point the finger and say, you relapsed, you're doing this. Well, bitch, you're helping her.
Yeah.
So it was really tough to point fingers. I mean, glass people shouldn't... people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Glass people can't throw anything.
And that brings a whole new dimension to their fight, because if that did in fact happen before Vegas, you might somewhat understand why Renee was so angry or mad at Natalie. and it wasn't just Delicious that she was upset about. There was a lot of other things going on. If that happened after Delicious, before Vegas.
Right, absolutely.
But I don't know did Renee have any idea what she was really doing? Because she was
in Vegas? Well, according to her, she said no.
Yeah.
Well, you mean what she was doing as in she was blacked out?
Yes.
Yeah, like when she was like physically.
Here's the thing. When you mix all of these different prescriptions and alcohol, so you have an antidepressant in your system, and then you have Xanax, an anti-anxiety in your system, and you have alcohol, you absolutely, without a doubt, black out. It's the equivalent of drinking to the point of blacking out. So, but it also causes you to be a little crazy. And I, have seen people go down this road before, and they want to be like, oh, well, you can't blame me for last night because I was on Xanax and drinking. And you say to them, well, who put that in your system? Did somebody drug you? No, you did it. So it is difficult. I 100% believe her that she doesn't remember it. But can you imagine if every moment in your life that you feel like you effed up, every moment you not only had to hear people tell you about it, but you had to watch it.
Yeah.
I'm not perfect. And I have a feeling, as amazing as you two women are, that neither of you are perfect either. And we've all messed up at some point in our lives. And if you had to just relive that over and over, I mean, that's something to make somebody relapse within itself.
Yeah, and I would hate, and the idea too is on these reality shows, and Mob Wives included, watching yourself tipsy or drunk. I think that would be the worst. It's one thing to be drunk and blacked out, but like you said, Roxy, not even if you screwed up, just in general, watching yourself.
Sloppy, mean,
God.
easy, whatever you are,
I'm not mean. I just laugh. I have fun.
Right, but there's got to be a moment where you would not want to relive it.
No, I wouldn't want to watch it. I wouldn't want to watch it, that's for sure. But regardless of all that, I mean, Renee and Natalie just seems like they're never going to get along. They're never going to be amicable, and they're never going to be friends.
I believe they might be amicable. I don't think they could ever be close because of the type of people they are.
No. And it's interesting because a lot of times people that are so similar can't be friends.
Right.
Because they have the same good qualities and the same bad qualities.
Who wants a peanut butter sandwich? Because that's the same thing. Sorry, Charlotte, you were going to say something more intellectual, I hope.
But I won't take a sandwich with extra peanut butter. Is that the same thing?
That sounds good.
I made you lose your point, which I'm sure was way more valid than mine.
Some people eat 2 peanut butter sandwiches and they're quite content as well.
And then there are people who just have jelly. All
right.
It's a tough life.
Charlotte.
I don't know what I was going to say.
I leave a lot of people speechless. I've been told that before.
Okay, so we also move on and they talk a little bit. They and like you said, Roxy, this reunion show didn't have the pizzazz and the spunk that we're used to and seeing. And a lot of it was just recaps. And they recapped Drita's marriage, and Drita talked a little bit about, she addressed the fact that people made comments regarding how they communicate, with how Drita communicates with Lee, and how it was kind of weird how they cuss at each other. And she said that's our relationship. That's how we are. I love him. And she's happy. So that's good. She reiterated that.
That's the kind of thing I would have heard, like, I would have been interested in hearing more about. Lee is this mystery man. Really talking to her about, like, so
why isn't he on the show?
Why isn't he on the show? Are you nervous that he's cheating on you still? How do your kids feel about this? What's going on with the modeling career? Like, things on what's happening to this date. Like, that's the kind of stuff I want to hear.
And I don't, and in looking at this, I feel that they spend so much time on the clips. And like you said, Roxy, it's not so much a reunion.
I sat here and watched it.
It's a recap.
Yeah, I watched every episode. I don't need you to show me all of the episodes.
And I wish they would have spent more time talking to the ladies. Did they do that? It's like a chicken and the egg thing. Did they do that because the women just didn't give much, and so they had to fill the episode?
Right.
Or why did they do it? I don't know.
Well, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, like, because I know from interviewing with some of the housewives, these reunions last like 12 hours. And then it's a long day. I mean, there's no way that this could have lasted like 12 hours, and they gave us that.
Well,
surely.
Absolutely. And I was just going to say that I know from going to reunion tapings and also talking to different reality show and whatnot, they actually show you the clips where you're sitting. So if you're sitting at this table, you're one of the mob wives, and they're about to talk about something, they play the clip. They'll run it for you, and then they'll talk about it. So it does make me think that they pre-planned showing us the clips. So I don't know, maybe these women gave us more than we're giving them credit for, and it was just a whack editing job. But I find that hard to believe. I think that if there's any sort of big drama, they would have showed it to us.
Because we only got 2 pieces of information that we didn't know. We got that London is moving to Philly, and they're getting a house, and that,
but they're also keeping a place in New York, so that's not really information. That's the same thing.
Exactly. And that Alicia, we knew that her case wasn't settled.
Oh, well, to me, the biggest piece of information we got was the fact that they got high together.
Yeah, and I kind of wish, to be honest, I wish they would have spent a lot more time on that. I would have really wanted to know detail by detail how that went down.
What was the timeline?
And why were they texting? How often were they texting? Like you said, Roxy, there's a lot of questions that I would have had in that moment, and maybe she answered them, but who knows?
And also,
why
I'm sure somebody's in Sherri's ear saying, "Ask this question," you know. And I think that Sherri is a great interviewer, so I'm sure she had a million things she wanted to piggyback. Like, wait a second, what do you mean you got stoned or not stoned? High, coke. We hear that coke's all of a sudden in the mixture. I didn't even know coke was in this mixture. I knew that we had all these pills. So now we're mixing uppers and downers. Of course you're blacking the hell out and acting like a psycho. You're mixing all these drugs and alcohol. Tell me, how did that happen? When did this, It
also brings to light the fact that Natalie does drugs too.
Right.
So then you're thinking, okay, so how often is she doing them? Is she high when we see her?
Obviously, those are questions she might not want to answer, but it's at least worth looking into. I would rather have the masker on the show. So are you admitting here that you did get high with her and have her say no comment? I would rather see that than what we saw.
Well, guys, keep tuned in to us here. We're working on trying to get some of the ladies interviewed here, and if they come, we're going to be asking them those kind of questions.
Oh, absolutely. We will be having a couple of them for sure. So maybe next week, tune back in. We'll let you guys know.
We'll let you know. But all right, so then they move on a little bit. They touch on Renee's book that's coming out. Her book, Playing with Fire, that's supposed to be coming out in April. And
wait, let's plug her a little bit. What is it, April 9th?
April 8th. Something, Playing with Fire.
April 8th.
Yeah. April 8th. And then they talk a little bit about to Alicia regarding her situation. And Alicia still stands true to the fact that she was naive. She did not know what was going on.
But then
and
she says maybe
Sherri kind of asked her that too. Like, how could you not really know what was going on?
Yeah, but she says that, and then she says, like, maybe it's my destiny, And it makes me think, like, you're saying you're naive, but then you're kind of saying what you deserve is coming to you. So I don't know. I think she slips tongue a little bit sometimes.
Yeah, she goes back and forth. She doesn't make sense with everything she says. She's very contradictory.
Right.
So it's hard to really trust what she's saying, unfortunately. As much as I've grown to really like her throughout this season.
Yeah, I agree. But when she said she's naive, she kind of looks like proud of the she's like, well, maybe I was naive,
but I was in love, deeply in love.
Yeah,
it's like, all right,
but she's smart, and she's smart. That's why it's contradictory, because she's smart, and you she's not, in a way, she's not that naive,
right?
So, but she says it.
This was a part of the after show that really got looked over, but I thought was a brilliant point made by Sherri. But she goes, listen, you knew that your husband's father was murdered by Sammy the Bull. Did you not? And she's like, well, I actually didn't know it was part of that lifestyle that he was murdered. Yeah. It was everywhere. That is something you cannot lie about. You could have opened a newspaper. You could be me sitting 3,000 miles away, and you know what happened. So you can't lie about that. Yeah. You knew that happened. So maybe you could have said, I thought he left the lifestyle, but saying you had no idea, you're lying.
Yeah. And everyone knows that. That's the thing.
Right. That's the problem.
That is the problem.
So I thought that was a good point, and I kind of wanted them to go a little further into that, but then again, I almost don't, because I wish the best on the woman, and the deeper we go on the show, the more screwed she is in court. So
yeah, and she's got to be very careful.
Yeah,
like they said, they haven't made a decision yet, so every single thing she says is really important. So she's got to be careful. So they do talk a little bit about the fight that happened between Renee and Alicia, and
Shocker.
Yeah. And also the Twitter fight that happened between Renee and Natalie also. So they rehashed that a little bit, but
we still really didn't get anything from the Twitter thing. Like, what did we get from it?
We got
I think Renee admitted to one tweet was about Natalie, but still one of them wasn't.
Well, the issue was Renee sent out, it seemed like two tweets. One was not addressed at anybody. One was specifically addressed, I believe, to Alicia. Or
And
Natalie.
she was never tagged.
Yeah, but she said Renee said during this finale
admitted,
that one was directed to the ladies. And so then Natalie responds by defending Alicia, and she responds by being pretty nasty. So Natalie didn't take the higher ground. Natalie took the same ground and actually went below to the basement ground. And she tweeted back some nasty things. So the problem is, though, is that Renee is upset at Natalie for everything that she said, but Renee is not taking responsibility for the fact that she actually started the fight.
Right, because she's claiming she wasn't the one who did. Honestly, I can't help but not care. You know what I mean? Like, I wish that if this was something that brought a bigger truth out, you know, like this was like, you know what, Renee sucked a married man's penis, and then that's what we were talking about. Was Renee on Faith, or was Renee hooking up with somebody's husband? That's something I would be interested in, her clearing her name. But specifically talking about the tweets, it's not gutting anywhere. She's denying that she was tweeting about Natalie, and Natalie's tweeted about her, so where is that going to go?
Well, I mean, it goes with what I was saying at the beginning of this show, is that the fights are they're dumb, they're superficial, and this is just another one of them, especially the ones between Natalie and Renee. You could just tell the women aren't friends, they don't care for each other, and it's like, okay, you don't like each other, like, I'm done hearing about it.
If you sat me at dinner with somebody I didn't like, I'd have an issue too, you know?
Yeah.
Sherri said, why tweet when you can speak? Amen.
Yeah,
says the girl with thousands of followers, whatever.
But I don't put my messages across on Twitter.
Well, and I think Sherri's point to that was that you women have no problem talking face to face and interacting face to face. So why are you resorting to tweets?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't think these women are afraid of anything. So why wouldn't they just say it to each other's faces? Probably just because it's inconvenient, and just pulling out their phones more convenient. Like, haha, you slobbed on a married man's knob.
Also,
sometimes I wish I could just rewind and take things back.
This is live. This is a live show. There's no taking it back, Roxy. But I think part of it, too, is because Renee and Natalie don't hang out. So they're not going to say face-to-face. I think they enjoy putting jabs at each other out in public. It makes them relevant, makes them, I don't know, people talk. So the big shocker for this entire episode had nothing to do with anything that happened this season. And it was Drita going bananas over things that happened seasons past.
I didn't even really understand what this was. It was something about Karen talking.
Well, because Drita's husband used to date Karen.
Right.
They were exes. And in past seasons, Drita had issues with the fact that it was always brought up, this relationship with Karen. And Karen had issues and blah, blah, blah. And Drita's like, I'm married now. Let's move on.
Right.
And what Drita was saying was that, Renee, you were the one constantly bringing this up. And I let it go, or I resolved it. But you're kind of doing the same thing now to Alicia. And so Drita's hashing up old things.
I hate when people do that.
I hate it when people do that too.
I really think I really think this was the producer stepping in, making her do it. So I can't really blame Drita. But when we're if you're gonna sit down and forgive me, then you forgave me, because don't bring it up. We're having a fight years later. Remember that one time you did this?
She said it kept bugging her. Like, what? For years?
Does that really bother you?
Maybe the two of them never resolved it, and Drita's choosing to make it an issue now. But yeah, as we were watching the episode, we all had this theory that essentially they told Drita, hey, bring this up, bring it up to Renee.
Dick in the soup.
Yep.
I said dick in the
because
soup.
there was nothing going on. There was no drama. And what they always used during the advertising to advertise this finale was that one clip of Drita.
Yeah.
And if they didn't have that clip, there wouldn't be much to hype the finale about.
And when we watched that, we were like, what's going on?
What
and then
is
we
it?
watch it and we're like,
what?
Really? Are you serious?
Yeah, what?
That's what she's talking about? Something that happened seasons ago?
If we're using Twitter terms, hashtag, I don't care.
No, hashtag said that, done that, moved on.
Yeah, been there.
Been there, done that. So that was kind of disappointing, which is to my point of we need a new blood. Because if we had a really better new blood, we wouldn't need to talk about old blood.
No, I don't know if we can deal with a new blood. We might need old new blood.
So hashtag
I
new
think
blood.
old
Maybe
new
we
blood.
need old new blood.
Old new blood.
One question.
Who would you bring back?
How many words did Big Ange speak in this reunion?
It was all about the hoodie, baby. She really didn't say anything other than about the hoodie.
She did talk about the baby, how they're not going to have a baby anymore.
She's not having sex ever with Neil.
That too.
Which I guessed when they went to the place, and she was like, "We haven't had sex in 2 years," and everybody was like, "Is that true?" And I was like, "I think so."
I'm sure he touches her boobs though all the time. Come on,
that's why
so
they're there.
big. They're right
She was
there.
like, I'm against blowjobs or anything having to do with sex.
Do you think she can even feel though? Because like,
I don't know, you could like elbow her really hard, and she probably wouldn't flinch.
He's got to motorboat those things every, once or twice a week.
He probably like jerks off every day. Poor Neil.
Oh my God! All right.
Oh man, get me off this show.
Is there anything else that I might have missed?
No, you really did.
Did we cover everything?
Yes, you really did. We
All
really
right.
did.
I think that's it though. So, what are your predictions for life?
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
So I feel like Obama's not going to be president in the next round.
With the Mob Wives.
Charlotte, take it away.
I hope we get some new blood, old blood.
Who would you guys want back?
I want to say Karen, but I don't think it will be.
I miss Ramona.
Really?
And Carla and Karen. And not Love.
Not Love.
No.
I'd like to see Karen back. I would like to see her back. And
Only
I'd
'cause of the drama.
I'd like to see Carla back. I think she brings a little spice to the mix, and I could see her not getting along with Natalie.
No.
I can't really see any of the old girls getting along with Natalie. I can't see many people getting along with Natalie, even though I really like her.
You're on a roll tonight.
But predictions, I really think that Alicia, the worst she's going to get is house arrest. That's just my feeling, and I hope that's true.
I agree with you though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think Alicia's going to jail.
Me neither. I think they'll see that she has kids, and I think that they'll take mercy on her.
Yeah.
While she bats her eyes and does her naive act.
And I think that Drita is going to still be in happy La La Land, I hope. Anyways, I hope
hopefully her
she's in
store will
Love
do
Land.
well.
Yeah, I hope she's going to do well. And I hope that Renee does well with all her ventures too. Her book, her Mob Candy.
Do you guys want to go to the Drunken Monkey right now? Let's go drink.
Yeah, let's go. Let's get a drink. We're gonna take a shot for this show, and I hope you guys out there are gonna take a shot too, because we needed it after the finale.
Yeah.
We needed some excitement.
We needed it during the finale.
Yeah, seriously. All right, guys. Where can everyone find you? This is it. This is the last show.
At Shaw Broadbent.
The last show until next season.
Next season.
And you can find me at Roxy Striar.
And you can find me, your host, Erika Garcia Rojas, on Instagram and Twitter at IamEGR. Bye, guys. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned. We might have some special surprises for you.
Woo!
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later, bitches!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.